Hey Bob, I hope you're doing well. I have a feeling you don't like when I call you Bob. I always want to. People call me Bob all the time. It's like second nature to me, but okay. Isn't it exciting that you finally have movement in your life? You know what I mean? Cuz I'm right there with you. I moved and I have some work stuff. I have a cuz I've been looking for cuz I do tarot full time. Well, I'd say part-time, but I didn't intend it to be like a full-time thing. It was just something I wanted to do to kind of like grow spiritually. So I got more than what I asked for, but at the same time, it served a huge purpose for me. Anyways, enough about me. So you're just at a crossroads. So you don't want to take the I Associates position if it's during the retrograde. So something wanted me. I was hearing it before I even pulled up your email because I read it earlier. Bob, retrogrades are a natural part of like our life. We have like 3 or 4 of them a year. There to check people because sometimes people get too regimented and too routine. That what does that mean? It means that they start to hold on, and then they get too tense or they get too comfortable. And so what happens when we get too tense or too comfortable? We get resistant, and then that makes us resistant to change. Change is the ebb and flow of our life. That's how we live and grow. That's how we live. We have to grow. And sometimes those lessons aren't fun. Sometimes things grow naturally within us. That just remember with retrogrades, they're just to kind of like change the energy. Because I mean, if you think about it, we have them 3 or 4 times a year. It's we don't want people to get too comfortable, but at the same time, life has to keep moving forward. So, I think I've Googled this, or I've asked people who knew more about Mercury retrograde than myself. It's like, so do I not sign contracts during a retrograde? Do I not start a relationship? Do I not start a new job? Do I not do all of those things? And I've heard some astrologers on YouTube, they'll say like, if you can do your best not to, then try not to. But my thing is, I know people who have started jobs, signed contracts, bought homes, bought cars, started relationship, all that stuff during retrograde period, and they're fine, and they were fine. That there's the ebb and flow of life. That when something's meant to happen, it doesn't matter what's going on with the planets, it's meant to happen. So just keep that in mind, because the last thing, the last thing that I want for you is for you to, not to say that you're doing this, but don't sabotage this in any way, even if it's like a tiny, tiny bit. Because when I read it, it says, I don't want to take the I Associates position. You didn't put a period, but then it says, if it's during the retrograde period. So my thing is, be open to it if it's during the retrograde period, because for whatever reason, that might actually be the perfect time. It just might mean, like, say, for example, when you're negotiating or if you're signing the contract, read the fine line, read the fine print. Because even with Mercury retrograde, say for example, somebody's saying, oh, don't sign on the dotted line or don't start anything new, but you have to. You know what I mean? When they say read the fine print, you might read the fine print and notice something a little bit different that you didn't know was there, but it doesn't necessarily have to mean it's a bad thing. Okay? Or that if you would have overlooked that, it would have been really bad. It might just be something very simple to be like, oh, I should have double read that. What's wrong with me? You know what I mean? So just keep that in mind, all right? In terms of the retrograde period, it's already here. Okay, so it actually hits on the 26th. The energy is always here at least a week before. I've even felt it 3 weeks before. So just like how there's a shadow period, the shadow period is after after Mercury goes direct, whenever that is in August. After it goes direct, things don't just automatically start working again or flowing. There's the shadow period, and the shadow period is almost like picture a puzzle being thrown up in the air and the pieces are everywhere. That's when we're starting to put the puzzle pieces back together, and by the end of the shadow period, that's when the puzzle's complete and the forward movement is like in motion. Because with this Mercury retrograde, there's like, I think I read an article to where between the months of June and August, there are like 5 or 6 planets retrograde at one time. Somewhere within there. I feel like it's either in July or August, where there's going to be like 5 or 6 planets that are retrograde at the same time. So don't stress over this, okay? Now, sorry if I was babbling with that. So let's just go right into your questions, okay? So you feel like they keep on shucking and jiving here at work, but they say it's definite. I'm just trying to find clarity and choose the right path. Okay. You're like me. I swear me and you are very similar. Because that's kind of what's going on with my potential opportunity right now, where I applied with this company. I actually hung out with the vice president of the company this weekend by chance, because my friend works there. It's a long story, but he was talking about how he was aware that I applied for a position, but he's like, there's more coming too. There's more positions, so it leaves the door open for other opportunities also. So it helped me to breathe a little bit. But I was doing what you're doing, kind of like, I want to make sure I'm on the right path. Because for me and you, we went down this path, or we felt like we've been on this journey for the last year where it was like beating a dead horse, except we were the horse. And it just felt like every time we tried to get back up, we were getting slammed down. And we'll get back up, that's not a problem, but it starts to wear on you. And the depression, of course, with which we've both dealt with, for me, it was rough. It was rough. So, anyways, let's go to your questions. Spirit guides, what can you tell me about Bobby and the iAssociates position? You've been having a hard time, I see that. It's about, so whatever this means, Bob, you have choices to make. So I don't know if this means you have a choice to make coming up, or you need to make a choice. I don't know if you're bouncing back and forth. Like, well, maybe I'll take this position, but I know that this person really wants, and forgive me if I haven't been following. I've read all your emails, but I might not be following, right? So, because you said you're at a crossroads, well, Spirit's saying you are having having a hard time with making that decision. So needing to walk away from something. Let me go back to one of your other ones. They push your start date for the recruiter job back to August 6th. The iAssociates won't have an answer for me for a few weeks. Mercury retrograde time. Okay. There's new beginning coming, Bob. You see that? Money and happiness. It involves you closing a door. There's a new chapter coming for you. What's the world card for Bobby, Spirit Guides? What you've been wanting. So I don't want to jump to conclusions and say that's the iAssociates position, but something's coming that you want. But Spirit keeps saying, but it's going to mean that you're going to have to let go of something. You're going to have to end something. Something has to be done here. You got to let go of something. Two of Swords is, you know what that is, you just haven't done it. So what are we talking about? Are we talking about a job or your thought process? What is it? It's about your thinking, okay? So in terms of wanting the perfect fit, the perfect match, the perfect job, okay? When the Two of Swords came up, Swords represents what we're thinking about, our thoughts. So there's something that you're aware of, you haven't done it yet. I feel like it's about letting go or making a choice about something. I asked, what is it? Is it a job? Is it your thoughts? Well, then Knight of Swords popped up. Your thinking. Then the Ace of Swords popped up. Your thinking, okay, about what position or job you want or which one you're going for. So if this doesn't make sense to you, Bob, it's almost like if you're going to take this promotion at the job that you're at just to take it, then do that. But if the job that you really want is the iAssociates, just keep that your focus and don't get frustrated with anything else. Does that make sense? So for example, you said they pushed my start date for the recruiter job back to August 8th. That's okay. You're right. That is Mercury retrograde kind of energy, but okay, so now you know that. But your main focus is the iAssociates. So it's almost like whatever you need to do between this time where you're waiting for both, just breathe through this process, okay? Because you're doing restructuring and you have been. So remember, you went through this long period of nothing happening for you. And it was like you kept trying and trying. Well, now that it did, part of your relationship with what's-her-name, it needed to end, Bob, so it did. Okay? So do you see, and I've been going through my own tower too. The tower is whatever, and this also has to do with the return of Saturn in Capricorn. Saturn's the planet, basically it's about destruction. It'll take out of your life what is not working for you, whether you want it to, or you fight it. It's like, sorry, this isn't working for you, and it's not the path you're supposed to be on. So we're just going to take it out. So if your relationship is part of that, then it's part of that. If this job or whatever it is, it is. But it's also about, if you're thinking a certain way, if you tend to push, if you tend to do all these things, then Saturn's going to step in. So you are going through your tower energy. So it's about a reset for you. Okay. But Spirit's saying, I don't know what this is. Because Bob, you already heard me, like, you need to make a decision. I don't know what that's about. A choice. It's coming up again. Do you see you're fighting, making a decision between you and something? You're resisting something. Do you see that? This is saying, this is what I want. But Spirit's saying, you're not doing that. I don't know what this means to you, Bob. But I will say, in terms of your outcome, I see success for you, and I see you with money. Spirit's saying, but you just got to trust that. Okay. Why is this card here? Don't get discouraged, because I don't know if you're still bummed about your ex-girlfriend. Okay. But Spirit's saying, in terms of actions that you're taking right now, don't get discouraged because of losses, sadness. So I don't know if I feel like this is associated to your girlfriend. There's slow movement here. So maybe if you've been, I know that you said something in the last email like there weren't any feelings there. But it looks like you are kind of going back and forth on some things. Okay, so if you look at this, we've got you and her. That's a Capricorn. Slowly something. Is your breakup dragging out? Are you guys still talking? I'm going to pull an advice for this, but you see we have a loss here, grieving a loss, but then something's dragging out or it's taking forever. It has something to do with you and her. Are you on the fence? In your mind you're going, I don't know what to do. Should we be back together? Okay. I do feel that in terms of the two of you, if you've not been on the same page for a while, well, that needs to end then. Because the Six of Pentacles a lot of the times is about not being on the same page. So if you haven't been on the same page, then why try and be on the same page again? Okay? I know that message kind of sounds kind of like back and forth, but let's go back. Spirit guides, what can you tell Bobby in terms of choosing the right path? Let things happen organically, Bobby. They're going to happen. Your ex is coming up again, by the way. You guys aren't on the same page. Do you feel torn? Spirit saying you're not making a decision. Are you keeping things open to possibilities? Are you thinking, well, I want new love, but you're still keeping her around? That's that. If you may not be doing that, but if you are doing that, I just feel like it's creating some sort of resistance energy for you moving forward. Tower card's here again. And I've always said with the Tower card, two people trying to build a relationship, which is the Tower, if they're not on the same page, this Tower is going to fall. It's just going to fall, so what's the point? Okay? Death card again. So if that's what we're talking about, that needs to end. Okay? Spirit's saying you need to be confident in your actions towards moving on and recognizing why you're moving on. This person's walking away from these cups even though they're not knocked over because this person's not getting what they want from it. They can't fool themselves either. He is moving, cups is what we want. He is walking away from 7 of them, 8 of them, because he knows he needs to be happy again. Okay. In terms of the job, okay, if you don't want it to be, you don't want maybe this time period, this waiting to be so difficult, Spirit's saying, well, in due time, you're going to get what you want when it comes to work. You're going to get it. Spirit guides, what is the likely outcome for Bobby with the recruiter position at his current job? What's the likely outcome for the recruiter position at Bobby's job? Once again, is somebody leaving for you to get that job? I don't know why a woman's popping up. But then I see the Fool letting it go. That might not make sense. Because I'm trying to get this flow with you, but I think it's because not a whole lot of questions. Not to blame you on that, Bobby. Spirit Guides, Bobby says that he doesn't want to take the eye associate's position if it's during the retrograde. What can you tell him about that? Stop thinking that way. That's why, if you're feeling frustrated, if you feel like, why is this so difficult? Can I just get the damn job? Okay, when I said Bobby doesn't want to take the eye associate's position if it's during the retrograde, Spirit says stop thinking that way. Do you see swords as our thoughts? It's 10 of them. Spirit's saying knock it off. Don't do that. 5 of Pentacles. They're walking away from thinking that way. So Spirit's saying abandon it. Almost like change your thinking. Whatever you can do to change your thinking. Because that's why it feels like you're having a hard time then. It's making it worse. If that makes any sense. And I know worse is kind of a harsh word. Yeah. It's just making it harder for you about when am I going to have the investment? When am I going to get word of the job? When am I going to have money? So it's like a build-up. You're excited because you know that what it's going to do for you or what it means for you. But don't make it harder on yourself. Okay? Because Spirit's saying it's not good for you. So you have to abandon that way of thinking. Okay? You might even be like, Bob, I'm not tripping on it that bad. But that's what's coming up. Okay? Let me see if I have any other ones for you. Bobby. 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 Sorry. I googled, or I searched Bobby, and it's bringing up all of the things that I've sent out. So, ask Bob. Let's just do a career reading really quick for you, okay? Spirit Guides, this is a career reading for Bobby. Anything that would be helpful for him, please show me. Show me Bobby. Dang, Bobby, this 10, you're getting close to the end here, but you just pulled two tens. Bob, what? You don't have to explain this to me, but it just keeps saying the same message over and over again, even right now. What do you need to decide on or let go of? What do you need to do? There's something you need to do. Okay, so I feel like in terms of, so tens, so 2 tens are telling me you're to the end of something. You're on the end of a cycle, okay? It's like bringing balance back into your life. So then, do you see we have 2 cards? We have 2 cups here and then the scales here. This is about balance. This is about balance. So I feel like you're coming back into alignment, maybe shifting into a new paradigm or a new sort of chapter for yourself. But then we have new beginnings. But Spirit's saying you need to decide then, what are you going to do? Are you going to wait? Or are you going to let go? What does that mean? I don't know what that means, okay? But Spirit's saying, are you still kind of down in the dumps about something? Because it's also asking you to walk away from something. And it's saying, you know what it is. Indecisiveness about your choice. Indecisiveness about something that you're not taking action on. Okay? Walk away from whatever this indecisiveness is. Not making a decision. Not putting a firm, that's the one I want. Or I don't want that one at all. Okay? Spirit's asking, it's almost like Spirit's saying, don't kind of just do this because you're waiting for this. Even though you're going to do what you're going to do because you need to do what feels right for you. But it keeps coming up once again. You've got like decisions you need to make. Okay? Now I wouldn't say these are more future because this is your present situation. But Spirit's saying you need to abandon something and start heading towards what makes you happy. Things that make you happy. Okay? Which sounds general. But once again, I'm not kidding you. The same message just keeps coming up. What are you going back and forth on? Keep going. So when you see the 2 of Pentacles, there's something here once again about not making a decision or deciding something. Because the juggler, he's juggling. He's not moving. Okay? Spirit Guides, what's working for Bobby with career right now? You're restarting over. You're like starting over. Okay, but you are resisting a little bit, and I don't know what it is. It might be related to love because she's here. Okay? In terms of work, you're basically resetting. You're starting over. The Tower card is whatever wasn't working for you, which is that job in the call center or whatever. It's not working anymore, so it's time for that to be over. So you can start rebuilding something that works for you. I don't know why she's coming up. This could represent your energy. Somebody who's settling. They're not totally happy with something. But there is this resistance energy towards heartbreak and a relationship. So I don't know if we're reading career or if we're reading career and relationship for you. Spirit guides, what are Bobby's challenges right now with career? What are Bobby's challenges with career? What are Bobby's challenges with love? I feel like maybe you haven't totally let go of your girlfriend. So in terms of career, you're confused a little bit. You're daydreaming, but you're frustrated, like, well, when are things going to come to fruition? This is celebration. This is knowing where you're going to be working. Okay, but the moon card is, I don't know. It's a mystery. It's bothering you. Spirit guides, what can Bobby do about that? Pray, meditate. So I would say during this retrograde period, okay, a lot of things are up in the air right now. There's not a whole lot you can do, Bobby. So if you got to wait till August 6th for one thing, then you wait. If you got to wait a few weeks for the other one, don't panic. Don't think the worst. Get excited. Something's going to work out. Okay, and I feel like maybe that's what Spirit was talking about. In terms of love, we don't have a love situation, a happy one. Okay, but once again, Spirit's saying you need to make a decision between you and somebody else because the challenge is you're leaving the door open or you're leaving things up in the air. Okay, do something with confidence moving forward about making decisions. Okay, what else do we have for Bobby? Honestly, what I'm getting in terms of what you're desiring, if you really want what you want, whoever this woman is, or if this is representing your energy of what you want, Spirit's saying, well, then you have to accept something as a loss. Close that door so the new chapter can begin with you moving forward in love in a new way, a new direction. Okay? Spirit guides, what can Bobby expect moving forward? Bob, I'm seeing new job. Chariot is moving forward with what? The Hierophant, balance, structure. The Hierophant represents the legal system, organization, structures, jobs. Okay, something where you're going to have to use your head, your brain, your smarts. Okay, I'm not sure why the Six of Pentacles is here, but I was sensing because of all these pentacles, we are looking at job or work or money. Okay, but you're kind of freaking out about it because you really want what you want. Okay, you're feeling like stuck or trapped because you're not getting an answer with what you want, which is, I want the job. Okay, so Spirit guides, what's Bobby's advice with everything? What's his advice? Oh, I just remembered. You said you met a Pisces. What's the advice with the Pisces, Spirit? Spirit saying trust your gut with it. You might be thinking, hey, we might be a couple. You're coming up as the King of Cups, but this is your emotional side. There's the Pisces. Okay. It looks good. Okay. The advice is get out of your head. Spirit saying focus your direction on trusting the process. Bottom line, Bobby, if it doesn't feel right or if something feels a little bit off, back out. Spirit's saying your advice with this Pisces is, I don't know if you've been doing this, because what Spirit's saying is it's time to start doing this. So if you've been thinking or overanalyzing or thinking too much about it, Spirit's saying just trust it, Bob. How do you feel about it? Do you have time for this right now? Can you invest in her? Okay. Your advice is put your foot down with things. Be clear in your convictions with what you do moving forward because you're in charge. Okay. Hangman just popped up. Why? I think this is related to your ex-girlfriend. Maybe not. But Spirit's saying you've been sitting on something doing nothing about. If it's over, it's over. Let it die. So the transformation can take place. If you have somebody new coming into the picture, are you holding on to anything else? Because you're not grabbing this cup yet. Okay? You have to let go. And when I say you have to let go, why do you have to let go? Because you're still holding on to your ex. You may still feel kind of emotionally invested or invested somehow. Maybe trying to keep the door open, maybe still chatting or talking. Okay, Spirit Guides, Bobby's advice with his ex. I almost feel like Spirit's saying you need to tell her that you want to move on and move forward, and you want things to flow for you in your life. So, you know what I mean? If you had a lot of arguing with her, things weren't flowing. That maybe you want more in life. You want more in a relationship. You don't want to always be wondering, is this the right decision? You want to trust yourself moving forward. Okay, that's your reading, Bob. I hope that it was helpful. I know it was kind of jumbling, kind of all over the place, but I hope it was helpful to you. Keep me posted on things. I always like hearing about what's going on. I don't always reply, but I do read them all. So take care of yourself. I'll keep you posted on things with your next reading as well. Just because email sometimes is a drag. Just because I want to like be animated and talk about all this stuff, and then I have to like type it and it's boring. But I'll try my best. So take care of yourself, okay? Bye.